Welcome back, you guys. I want to take some time right now and talk about VR games. I've got a piece of paper here off to the side with 7 bullet points that I've kind of taken down over the last couple of weeks of thinking about this video, and it basically just sums down to how we can make higher quality content. So I'm basically speaking to the developers, and I'm hoping that you as a viewer can leave your feedback in the comments below on your favorite experiences, what you like about VR, what you don't like about VR, the systems you love the most, and the systems that you'd like to see go away the most. So to start this out, one, I think we can see a lot higher quality content if we focus on these 7 things. And before I get to those 7 things, I want to comment that when I was watching the Oculus keynote that came out a couple weeks ago, and John Carmack was talking. He said that a lot of VR developers right now are just coasting on novelty, and I totally believe that to be true. The other thing that he said was you don't have to do a lot better, but you got to do a little bit better. Now, before I get also into those 7 things, I want to comment that I know there's some developers that have sent me games. I've received about 7, and I think I've only put a couple of them up, maybe only one of them, on my channel. And the reason being is I might have liked your game, but maybe there was some game-breaking thing that prevented me from saying, hey, this is awesome and this is why you got to do it. Maybe that thing was so prominent that that was the reason why I couldn't show the video. So while I did want to show your game to the world, there was either something there, something missing, something broken, or it just wasn't connecting. And that was the reason being. Now, again, to hammer back into my number one thing, which is going to be, number one on the list, controls. There was one game that really kind of connects to that I can think of. It was a racing game. I don't want to say what game it was, but you get into the cockpit of this really cool vehicle, and you see where you grab this like steering wheel-like thing, and I'm just pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. And then I realize that I'm not grabbing onto it and controlling it. I'm just kind of using the touchpad like it's in a television from 1970. So it was really disappointing. If that developer, if he's watching this, if you can fix that and make it so I can grab onto the handles and just get going and race like this, you have one of the best games probably on Steam right now, but the controls are just kind of killing it. And going forward, that's what I've seen in a lot of games. When I've tested this out on a variety of different people from all kinds of experiences, the make it or break it thing for your game is going to be if people can immediately get into it. Some of the first experiences, like the first 2-3 months, I think was the best for releases on VR. We had games like Hollow Ball, Hollow Point, Horde Z, Zombie Training Simulator. Those games were pretty awesome. The Lab. And to this day, we still haven't really seen stuff that's any better than that original kind of launch lineup of kind of tech demo-y type games. They've just gotten worse and worse and worse. And over the course of, like I was saying, testing these out with different people, controls, that's how you're going to make it or break it. If it just takes too much, if it's a person that's not familiar with gaming, telling them to hit the right pad and then, select the weapon, it can be kind of not intuitive for them. Games like Art of Fight are amazing when you can just grab the gun, you can grab the cartridge, you can put it in, and then you can take the gun and you can stick it to your body, or you can stick more ammo to your body. Vanishing Realms nails it. Very easy to take items, pick up items, get in your inventory system. I don't like inventory systems in VR where it's a big screen. I like being able to grab a backpack and be able to put the items actually in a bag. This is VR. Use the physical space. And it's going to be a lot easier, I think, just for people to understand how to play the game. And most of the experiences that I've played, your game, whether I'm going to play that or not, I pretty much decide within 15 seconds. Sometimes I say 2 seconds or 2 minutes in traditional non-VR games, but you got about 15 seconds in VR. I don't know why. It's just one of those things where it's like, if I immediately can get this audio shield, you start punching it. You're like, yep, I get it. This is cool. So some of the games I've received and some of the games that I've played, it just is like, where are you going with this? And if you get better controls, if you make it easier for people to approach, it's just going to be more people talking about your game, more people loving your game, less returns for you in the end. Now, the other thing is it fun and simple without graphics? I think there's a lot of games that are out there right now on the system that they don't look good. They don't have to look good either. 8-bit, retro, 90s style graphics, that can be a thing in VR. And it is a thing in VR. So before you get too crazy on graphics, make sure you've just got some gameplay that's actually fun, something to do, something that you would want to play on your own and think about at work. Think about playing with your friends and stuff. And if you don't have that game yet, maybe think about holding it back, because I think there's far too much garbage on Steam already, and now it's just dumpster fire game after dumpster fire game coming out in the VR world. Not a lot of good stuff to talk about, and I want to be promoting this. I want to promote your game. So please send me your games, and if it's good, I'll definitely make a video and promote it to the world. But if you're not getting your video made, it's because people aren't trying hard enough. Now, the good example is Zombie Training Simulator. Very simple. You're shooting at cardboard cutouts. Hollow Ball, very easy. You just hit the ball. Rec Room, the shooting is very simple. Hollow Point, Space Pirate Trainer. Once you can figure out how to change the guns, it's really easy to shoot those guys. It's just simple. So keep it simple. Keep the inventory systems. Don't make the controller too convoluted with different buttons. It just gets too difficult. Anytime we want to look how to play the game, if you have to go outside of your computer, now we got to take our headset off, we got to look online. That sucks. That's another complaint about mine. You got to teach me how to play your game in the headset. Once I get this thing on, setted, all my headphones are on, I've got the perfect angle set, maybe something else on, I don't know. I don't want to take off my headset to go onto YouTube to learn how to play the game. Make sure you can do everything within the game. I hate that. Now, locomotion is another big thing. Teleporting seems to be in a lot of games, and I absolutely hate it. I think it's a complete deal breaker for immersion. Now, it works fine for things like Destination, or maybe something where you're going to be hopping around and looking at different objects. Yeah, fine, that's no problem. But in role-playing games, or something like Fallout 4, I want to walk through the woods and feel like I'm going on a hike. I don't want to teleport and just look at the vistas and go, I actually want to walk and feel that I'm like hiking. Now, I think there's a huge gaping hole that the immersion just gets ripped out when you teleport. You just beep, 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 beep. It doesn't feel like real life. Skyrim. When I played Skyrim, I played it for 80 hours, and I only finished 20% of the game. You'd be like, whoa, what the hell? Well, I played it with 3D vision, and I just couldn't stop going and looking at everything. It was more, I love hiking and backpacking. It felt like I was out hiking, and I was able to look at these trees and plants and bugs, and everything was just more interesting to look at. So, with the locomotion set to teleporting, it was kind of difficult to, immerse myself in some of these titles. Battle Dome, it feels cheap when I'm teleporting past somebody and shooting them in the back. Art of the Fight, Hover Junkers, I really like holding it out and just kind of moving where I want to go. Same if you're developing a shooter where just waves of enemies keep coming at you. I think Horde Z has done it the best. Horde Z, at least, it gets you out of that spot. It gets stagnant sitting in just one spot. Serious Sam, same problem. So, I really like how Horde Z pulls you forward. Would like to see more rail shooters, at least to move it forward a little bit. Now, the other thing is you don't have to make a game. I think there's far too many people making games when this is VR. You could be making experiences. Some of the best stuff has just been things where I'm sitting there, maybe touching something, going, oh my gosh, wow, whoa, look at that. Make a game about fireworks where I'm just lighting up fireworks or watching fireworks. Make a cooking game where I actually learn how to cook. Real recipes and the heat, temperatures, spices, and all kinds of stuff. Not everything has to be shooting zombies, shooting bows. I love that kind of stuff. But there's room for hiking games. Yeah, totally. Make me a hiking game. Guided Meditation VR. My hat is off to them because they actually made something that didn't require any bullets, was entertaining, but also I was able to learn. It was like going to a meditation class. I had been to meditation classes before. It was identical. It was awesome. Yeah, stupid comparison, but Paradise Island VR. That game, I'm just, not even a game, I'm just like teleporting around the island looking at fake virtual chicks. For the right person, that's awesome. And it's like an experience. When I asked people what they wanted to see more of, okay, so you've tried all these VR games, what do you like the best? What do you want to see more of? They just want to see cool shit. It doesn't have to be a game. It can be an experience where you're just sitting there walking around things. I would really love to look at animals and different weird creatures that things are created. I like looking at stuff. VR does give you the same effect as if you're out touring the country on a road trip. I found myself standing here putting my hands on the hips, looking around at the vista like I was on a mountain or something. Make more stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be a game. Now, the other thing I want to get into is the bullshit pricing. there are so many games that the pricing is all over the board. Some of these things are reasonably priced for what they offer. $3, you spend 5-10 minutes with it, you don't feel as ripped off. But then you spend 15-20 bucks on something that you spent 3 or 5 minutes with, and you felt like you got the royal fuck. So I think that there's too many games out there that are priced too high that are giving too many people the royal fuck. So I think for us to not feel like we just got bent over and took it dry, actually make your game good. Now I know that sounds terrible, but like I said with the whole John Carmack thing, you just got to be a little bit better. If you want to get less refunds, make the game a little bit better. I have so many things, asking for my attention. Netflix, Black Mirror, I got 2 episodes left. I want to watch them real bad. I really want to go play some Battlefield 1, and I got Titanfall 2 that's like, hey, when are you going to play me? And a slew of other stuff from comics, media, and then not to mention real life. So what's going to make me go look at your game? What's going to make me play your game over Battlefield 1 or Titanfall or any of this other stuff? Really, got to think about that. And if you're not there to that point where you think this is something good, don't put it out. Too much crap on Steam. Now, I know I just kind of went off into the weeds a little bit and got a little wordy, but I'm really trying to hammer in that there's just so much garbage out there that most people are just going to return it or they're not going to buy it at all. And I'm kind of falling into the second category, where I'm not buying games, VR games at all. Now, I know Steam lets you return it and stuff, but I don't want to do that. I know that that's a real person out there. I know that's a real person that at the end of the week is going to get a spreadsheet and say, this is how many returns I took. Fuck. I don't want to be that guy that's returning your game. I do want to support VR, and I want to support developers that are actually taking the time to make a good game. But I don't want to support the guy that's going for a cash grab and just labeling it VR and saying, here's $5, and you know what? You know you don't have any intention of filling this game out. It ain't going to go much farther than it is right now. You know who you are. There's a number of you. Now, one game I want to take a look at in particular, and I want to compare this to another game. Serious Sam just came out. As you saw my video, I was not a fan at all. I felt like it was an overpriced game that really had no shooting features that were any fun. I mean, we've already had that kind of entertainment. This is nothing new, and you're asking $40, and it's early access, and there's only 2 levels. Now, where it really upset me was that they're basically just ripping off one of their games they already put out. Serious Sam 3, I think it was BFE or something like that. Well, anyways, the last Serious Sam game that came out, they just took the assets out of that game and then put them in the Serious Sam VR. Did some simple programming to make you, sit there in the VR. Sure, program the level. Very easy level. I mean, you're not going anywhere. You're just standing there. So how much, level design is that? So they really just, slapped this thing together and then said, hey, give us $40. That's bullshit. Now, the game that I want to compare that to is Star Wars Battlefront. No, didn't do really good. I was a fan, but I'm a Star Wars fan, as you can see. Well, we heard during PSVR that Star Wars Battlefront was going to release a free add-on that was VR. You're into X-Wing and you're flying down the trenches. That is a fantastic way to sell people your game and also sell them a game that if you don't have VR, that's fine. So where I'm going with this, Crow Team, is it would have been a lot smarter to take your $40 game that nobody was playing, nobody was talking about. Why don't you reduce that down to about $30? Now you can put it back on Steam, it gets front page coverage, people are going to buy the game again, and you can label it, oh, now it's VR ready. And you can draw on 2 different markets. You can get people that hadn't purchased the game, you get more exposure, and you get to bring in the VR market. Win-win. The game is $10 less. Who gives a shit? No one's buying it at $40 anyways. So to me, it kind of feels like a smash and grab when you take an existing property that you have and really just ripping off the assets and saying, oh, here's Serious Sam VR, when you could have just given it, you really should have just added that into the last game you made, retitled it, rebranded it, and done. And that's exactly what EA did. And I would support any game going forward that wants to do something like that. If you want to take something that you already have and say, you know what, here's the VR Enhanced Edition, that's you're still selling a game. You're still selling a single-player experience that somebody can play normally without VR, but also as an extra little, enticement, there's the VR edition, which is also going to spur more sales. I just don't get it. I don't get why they did that, and it just sucks. Well, I get it. It's a complete smash and grab. So anyways, it doesn't believe me, look up the last Serious Sam game and look how similar it is, how identical it is to Serious Sam VR, and you'll see it's just a smash and grab. Now, the other thing I want to talk about and I want to end this on is I am sick and fucking tired of zombie games. If you are making a zombie game and it's not at least better than Horde Z, Brookhaven Experiment, or Zombie Training Simulator, then you just need to throw that shit out and start over, or reskin those zombies and turn them into robots or something. I've been gaming for a long time now, and it's just been since the early 2000s. Zombie game app. You know what? People like zombies. They don't like them fucking that much, though. Here's the thing about zombies. They're easy to animate, and they cover up bad AI and bad animations. Now, that came from somebody that actually worked on Half-Life 2 that I met when I worked at a storage facility a long time ago. So, guys that are making zombie games, keep in mind, a lot of us have just had our fill with them. I'm done. And the bar's already been set by a couple, so if you can't set that bar a little bit higher, don't even try. Again, now we're at the end. I want to take the time to thank anybody that has made it this far. Wow, you are the person that I am making these videos for. You are why I keep coming back to these videos, so thank you so much. If you haven't already followed me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, and look forward to more content in the future. If you want to support the channel, you can do that just by bookmarking my Amazon link, and any proceedings go forward towards more content to keep this VR channel going more. And I got a lot of plans and a lot of good stuff going, so I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch as much as you have so far. That's really awesome. And please, leave the comments below for the developers. Let them know your favorite things, your least favorite things, what you like, the systems that you hate, the systems that you love, so they can take that information and craft better games. Because I do have a lot of people that are developers watching my content. I've already been sent 7 games. So that means that there's probably a lot more than 7 people that are developing games watching this channel. So they can get some good feedback by you. Anyways, guys, thanks for taking the time. We'll see you next time.